fill in the blank under Kevin O'Connell, the Vikings offense will what? Maybe it won't need a quarterback who sometimes take chances.
Well, I'm gonna say the Vikings offense will be more diverse, under Kevin O'Connell. I think that's the thing that jumps to my mind. It's early in training camp. I know he made comments like it's more similar than different right now. So yeah, they're putting the basics in. They're laying down the kind of the train tracks, the foundation, whatever you want to say there. But I would think, Kevin O'Connell, the people he's been around, around some smart people. We know that he's going to get more later into training camp, and they're going to have more formations, more answers, more plays. Hey, more checks when you get to this and on that. And hey, when the defense does this, we want you to get to that. That's where I feel like we're going to see a difference in this offense. And yeah, Kirk Cousins, can he have a little bit more maybe of an aggressive frame of mind? I think it's not like he's aggressive, but he doesn't always have the confidence in his arm, I think, is more what it is. Like, his mindset's aggressive. I don't think he's got the confidence in his arm all the time to go, oh, wait, I can throw the 25-yard crossing route laser into, a tight window. And that is, again, goes back into, like, what the difference is between the superstar quarterbacks and a guy that's a really damn good quarterback, but not top 5 or 8 or anything like that. Mahomes, Rodgers, they see this 25 yards down the field. They go, I'm going to get it in there. No problem. He's open. Kirk Cousins might go, let me see if somebody underneath's open. Now if he's open by a foot, 2 feet, whatever like that, Kirk Cousins is really good. But I think that's probably what Mike Zimmer was asking of him. And I don't know if Kevin O'Connell is going to ask him to do that a whole lot. I think he'll have more plays that will be like, hey, just be accurate right there. And boom, and boom, and boom. And then I'll set it up to hit that one where he's open, and you don't have to worry about throwing it into a tight window. That's how I kind of see it playing out.
I have one small caveat on what you just said.
Yeah.
Regular season Rodgers makes that throw. Playoff Rodgers maybe doesn't.
I got you. That's a fair point. Maybe I should have said Brady and Mahomes then, because Brady, who used to kind of be like that in New England, to me that's the coolest thing about him now. He goes down swinging, and he's throwing the 100-mile-per-hour fastball. But yes, Rodgers, you're right, has seemed to be a little conservative in those type of moments when it comes to the cream of the crop teams in the NFL. I don't disagree with you there.
All right, Chicago Bears. That was a camp that Peter visited before heading to Minnesota. Buy or sell, the new coaching staff in Chicago will get the best out of second-year quarterback Justin Fields.
Well, yes, I'll buy it, but what does that mean? Okay, yeah, he's going to work hard, and they're going to make him into a better player. I don't doubt that. But I don't know if that's necessarily going to lead to great results on the field. I'll sit there and question. I mean, I don't think they've done him a whole lot of favors with talent. I like their new offensive coordinator and Luke Getsy coming from Green Bay. I think he's going to learn more football. And again, like we just talked about with Kirk Cousins, have more answers, in the offense compared to maybe the Matt Nagy offense. But I just, like you, I think question, is there enough talent around him to really show us everything he has? The support system is necessary so the star players can really show you all that they have to offer. And we've seen that with good teams and star players. You get on a crap team, that star player doesn't look like a star. Hey, there's no hole to run through. I'm Saquon Barkley. I'm a star. Well, that's great. There's no hole, so it doesn't matter. You're not going to be a star on this team. There's a lot of those that go around the NFL, and that's what I worry about with Justin Fields.
Dick Vermeil said over the weekend when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, he became a much smarter coach once he got Marshall Faulk
right
in St. Louis. And Justin Fields becomes a much better quarterback if he's got better players around him. And that's my concern. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're going to get the best out of him because they're doing this tear it down and build it up thing. But there hasn't been much building up. It's mainly been tearing down. I just don't know that he's got the help around him when he's on the field, on the offensive side of the ball, to get the most out of his skills. And then what happens? They struggle, they lose, and people say, that guy's a bust.
Yeah, I hate that.
And look,
That's
anytime you change regimes with a young quarterback, especially a guy who had 1 year, who was drafted by the guys who got fired, you may have a natural reluctance from the new regime to embrace that guy. And we want our own guy. We don't know if Matt Eberflus was a Justin Fields guy or not. And I guarantee you, he didn't interview for that job saying, I really wouldn't have made the move for Justin Fields. We don't know whether Ryan Poles would feel the same way, the GM of the team. So it doesn't feel like they're doing the same things for Fields that other teams are doing to try to support their young quarterbacks.
I would agree with that. I'm totally with you. And maybe one of these guys.
Look what the Jaguars did. Look at the difference between the Jaguars and the Bears.
Right. Set a record for how much money. Look at what the Jets did for Zach Wilson. I love him. Look at, you can say what you want. Look what, the Patriots, they set the table pretty well for Mac Jones last year too, spending a bunch of big money on tight ends and getting some, maybe not A-plus receivers, but A- and B-plus receivers that certainly make them good. Trey Lance, he's certainly not going to be void of talent and creativity. So I'm with you there. And I wonder too, maybe Brian Pringle can show up as the second receiver behind a Darnell Mooney. But, Cole Kmet, he is a good tight end, certainly. But, yeah, it doesn't seem like they've kind of put quite the same resources in it. And I do wonder sometimes, when you got a defensive head coach, hey, they look at that defense first, and then they try to help out the offense.
There always is a chance Brian Pringle will show up. I know they're hoping that Byron Pringle makes
Sorry. Did I say that?
Presence known
that's my bad.
in Chicago. Green Bay Packers, scale of 1 to 10. What's your confidence level in the Packers receiver group?
Like a 6. I don't even know if it's a 6 with the receivers. It's more of like, I think maybe it gets bumped up just because of Rodgers and LaFleur. Sammy Watkins, I don't have any faith that he'll be healthy. Randall Cobb, it's coming to the end. He does not have, great speed to separate anymore. Lazard's the guy. And I would hope Watson can be the guy that you see at the bottom of this list, who I think was, other than Jameson Williams, the most explosive receiver in the draft this year. So, I'm going to say 6 for right now.
And Rogers says the guy at the bottom of the screen, Romeo Doubs, making a wow play every day in training camp. So this is all about developing trust and getting the relationships down pat. That's why we thought Rogers should be there for the offseason program. Just those reps, seeing how guys make their breaks, understanding who they are, understanding what catches they will make. I remember when 7 years ago it was a big thing that Marcus Mariota hadn't thrown an interception in training camp practices, and Rogers was one of the ones who said, this is where I figure out what the limits are, right? This is where I know with each receiver where he's open and where he's not open. So I want to throw some interceptions. I want to know where that line is. I want to know who I can trust and where that catch radius really is. So this is the kind of faith that he's building in his guys. It's a compressed time frame because he wasn't there for the offseason program.
I know.
We'll see. Week 1. I think they got the Vikings week 1 right out of the gates.
Oh, baby. Here we go. You get to see Aaron Rodgers week 1, Michael Florio. I did start watching the ayahuasca podcast there with Aaron Rodgers the other night. It's 2 hours and 30 minutes long. I'm about 30 or 40 minutes in. But it is interesting. And I know a lot of people are making a big deal about it. This is where I love Aaron Rodgers, and this is my guy. Again, I think you take the 7 or 8 prime years of any quarterback in the history of football, nobody's better than Aaron Rodgers. He's the greatest talent I've ever seen. And I know we got Mahomes and Allen coming up the way here, but man, it was cool to see him dive into some of these issues, and I'm interested to see where it was just getting good and it was getting late at night and I turned it off. But I know a lot of people, especially in the football world, they just hear love yourself and ayahuasca and whoa, this guy's diving into feelings and things. That's such a no-no in macho football world. And honestly, that's what I love about Aaron Rodgers. He don't give a damn. He's going to be pretty honest for the most part, and he's going to say it how it is. And it is, Mike. I think it's kind of a cool watch. It's Aubrey Marcus. I'm giving the guy free pub here, but it's pretty good.
What's amazing is a couple of years ago, he desperately cared. He's had this turn in the last 2 years where he doesn't care anymore, and maybe it was the ayahuasca that set him free.
Yeah, it sounds like it is. I mean, from everything you get from this, it was, that Jordan Love draft moment was like, wait, what the hell is going on? He had some demons there that he had to figure out, and This ayahuasca has certainly helped, I guess. It's helped some people through some of their, mental issues, struggles, or whatever, where life takes you sometime. And there is some people that have benefited from it, and Rodgers certainly seems to be one of them.
So it was 4 fingers of tequila the night that Jordan Love was drafted, 4 kettles of ayahuasca at some point after the fact. And the ayahuasca apparently more effective than tequila. Real quickly, fill in the blank. The breakout star for Hard Knocks featuring the Detroit Lions will be who?
Oh. Well, I want to say it's Dan Campbell. I mean, does that count? I mean, is that allowed to be like – I just feel like the whole world's going to, look at Dan Campbell in this. This is where I can't wait. And they're just going to be like, oh, my gosh, I've never seen a coach talk like this or do this right here, or be built like this or use the language that he does. I think it's going to be one of the more – I think is about intrigued with Hard Knocks this year as I've been in a long, long time. Just because of Dan Campbell and what he's trying to build there and changing that culture. And, he seems like a crazy mofo. He seems like my kind of guy. I like it.
It was funny when you mentioned language because we were having some fun with Jason Garrett last week because he was saying something about your language. And I said, whoa, I watched All or Nothing featuring the Dallas Cowboys on Amazon. And, hey, man.
What did he say? He goes, they told me
left and right.
Yeah, and he's like, they told me they were going to be able to, edit some of this stuff, and then I turn it on, and there I am. So I think he thought he was going to get away with some of those 4-letter words, but no, we're on to you, Jason Garrett.
I think it's going to be Jamal Williams.
Yeah, that's a good one, too.
Because I think most people aren't aware of just how colorful and engaging he is, and those cameras and microphones are going to be drawn to Jamal Williams.
Yeah, 100%.
He's going to be a guy that a lot of people don't know about, should know about, and will know about. Starting, is that tomorrow night, this week?
I think it is.
This week it debuts.
I think it is.
God, time flies when you're having fun.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.